Sony Mobile, a division of one of the world's largest electronics companies, has slowly gone from a world leader in its space to a place of no innovation and no excitement. And in a universe inhabited by smartphones whose feature sets and design characteristics vary so wildly, the Japanese giant has fallen from its once legendary status. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and this is a two-part series with Noah Herman on Sony Mobile. My personal journey following Sony Mobile's growth began back in 2009 when I received a used Sony Ericsson mobile from my sister. Notice the Ericsson part of the name. You see, the two companies, Sony and Ericsson Mobile, came together in 2001 to create Sony Ericsson, the collaboration that would sustain a decade-long partnership until 2011, when Sony would buy Ericsson's stake in the company for $1.47 billion US. But back to this era of handsets, the company wanted to show a clear difference between its models so that each product had its own unique selling point, and two separate families emerged from this, namely the Walkman phones and the Cybershot devices, known for audio and camera quality respectively. I personally never got to use any of the Walkman phones, but I did get to play with the Cybershot family of phones, including the K750i and the K810i, whose awesome shooters at the time really actually got me started in photography as a child. These phones were top dogs, and anyone who had a Sony Ericsson back then was super cool, a stark contrast with the reality of today's smartphone market. It was around this time that the idea of a smartphone was just being realised, with Apple bringing out its first few phones and BlackBerry in kind of a purgatory state. But just around the corner in 2010, the company announced the Xperia family, a brand that to this day stands as Sony's smartphone lineup. Earlier in the decade, we got a series of truly awesome and groundbreaking smartphones, including the huge X10, the abstract X10 and X10 Mini Pro series, the massively popular Arc, and probably most famously, the Xperia Play. Not just a phone, but a product of what could have been the greatest and most revolutionary matchup of all time with PlayStation and Xperia. You'd be silly not to see the uncanny resemblance to the PSP Go at the time, and that really showed in the ads for the Play, but the disappointment lay not in the design, but the power of the thing. These days we have mini desktop computers in our pockets, but back in Android 2.3 days, yeah, that's gingerbread, the Snapdragon S2 and half a gigabyte of RAM was just absolutely not enough to play any kind of high demanding game. It sold well, but just missed that bullseye that could have brought so much attention and market share to Sony. After the original Xperia X era, Sony had just bought Ericsson's stake in the company, and their introduction of the people smartphone concept came into play, losing all the gimmicks and backing the R&D that truly mattered. This was the start of the Xperia Z family. The 2013 released Xperia Z was a classy, understated device that seemed to fit into the company's lineup of alphabetized smartphones. It didn't sell hugely well since it was known to simply fit into the lineup, not really stand out as the better one to buy. It would take a couple of generations until the Z2 became one of the main flagships to buy, sporting a stunning for the time 5.2-inch 1080p IPS display and IP58 weatherproofing. The phone looked boring, and I think that's probably the crux of Sony Mobile's long lacking sales figures, even if its long list of features was way ahead of its time. Another couple of releases later, the Z5, would bring some interesting spin-offs and iterations that would bring the company into the spotlight once again, namely its premium offering with a UHD display, one of, if not the first of its kind, and the Compact, a truly no compromises device with all the latest bits and pieces in a shell smaller than the average handset, and also one that I personally really want to try out in the future. Up to this point, Sony's relevance in the mobile phone bubble was pretty sporadic, failing to consistently impress and make a dent in any of the leaders' market shares. And with that, I'm going to conclude part 1 of this series, and to see part 2, please go over to Noah's channel where you'll find it, along with all manner of technology videos. Anyway guys, I've been Ryan Thomas. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do like, dislike, comment and subscribe if you're new around here to never miss a video like this one. Also check out my social medias, all will be on the screen and in the links in the video description. I want to give a massive shout out to my patrons. You guys are super awesome, so thank you for continually supporting the channel. and all links to everything again will be in the description. I want to give a massive thanks to Noah for partnering up with this one. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.